But I think also a lot of talents in Australia need to have a fucking good hard look at themselves and realize if they're not at that level and they're not gonna get to that level, then you might want to fucking get your shit together in real life because there's so many guys that have fucking nothing. They barely work. They still live at home. And when their fucking little dream doesn't happen, they're gonna have nothing. They're gonna be fucking broke in a housing trust home for the rest of their fucking life as a retiree on a pension. Like, yeah, there's too many dreamers. Like, you can have success and become a legend in Australian wrestling and build a fucking life for yourself, buy a house, build a family, like do all those things and still be like a well respected wrestler. You don't need to go to WWE to get that. So if you're not at that level and you're not self aware enough to realise that, then yeah, I don't know. Not my problem. But
no, bro, like I completely get it, man. And I feel like and you probably see it as well, man, like the same people that walk around and act like absolute pretentious twats, they're the same people, bro. Like in reality, you get my coffee on a Monday morning, bro. Like, don't, like, okay, cool. You're really good at wrestling. Well, I'm really good at life. While you're living in a caravan park, bro, I live in a fucking nice big home in fucking southern suburbs of Sydney, man. So, hey, bro, you go enjoy being good at, doing what you do on a weekend, bro, and I'll go do it, be good at doing life. So thank you. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah, that's one thing I've found pretty hard coming into wrestling is just having people that think they're above you because, oh, I've done this in wrestling. I mean, I've done fuck all really when you lay it out. And then you're like, mate, in real life, like, I'm here and you're fucking here and you're trying to tell me how to live my life and what to do. Like, it's the most frustrating fucking thing ever. It's like, you fucking work 2 shifts a week at Subway, I manage a fucking national workshop. Like, no. Like, I know that sounds arrogant, but fuck, man, it drives me insane. And they don't get it. They don't get it because they're not in the real world. They're in that world. And they're
100%. They're in that world of just like going around in circles of just being, hey, you know what I mean? Like almost like delusional. Like, I did a podcast with someone, they go, yeah, I like with someone, and it's like, yeah, I quit uni for this. Fuck, really? Like, no, don't tell me that. That just hurts my fucking soul. Like, don't. Oh, baby boy, no.
But you take like Chris Batso as a classic example. He's one of the most respected workers in Australian wrestling. He's fucking phenomenal. And outside of wrestling, he's successful as well because he hasn't put all his eggs in that basket. He's ran RCW and he's gone places, but he hasn't ever chased it as such. But he's a fucking senior sergeant in the police and he owns his own home and he's got a decked out caravan that he's built, his fucking car, all that shit, because he's actual switched on. He's a realist. And that's a classic example of you can be in Australian wrestling and have that reputation, have that respect, but also not fucking spend your whole life in wrestling because guarantee you'll regret it one day, like when you've got nothing.
Yeah, and exactly, bro. Like, and that's the thing. It's, you've got to be able to embrace other things in life and be able to have a backup plan as well, because the reality is this people that are going to be successful in wrestling and make a full-time living out of it are probably the top 5, maybe top 15% in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The people that can actually go into WWE level stardom.
Yeah.
Shit. Maybe the top 3% of the world get that opportunity. So,
but you can also get signed and still get nowhere as well. So you still have something to fall back on, even if you do get signed. because you might end up in NXT for fucking 2 months and then you're gone. You might be a star in NXT and then go to the main roster and then you're fucking released. And you can only live on that reputation on the indies for so long, especially if you're an Australian and now you're fucking there. And if you're not loving living in the US, then fucking come home. If you had something to fall back on, you'd be making more money in a different job.
You'd have a backup, you'd have opportunity, and I feel like that's the big part where, you know, some people, they put all the eggs into one basket, and then when it doesn't happen, that's when you start seeing depression, mental breakdowns, and stuff like that, because it's the people that didn't plan. As like, bro, prime example is like, what happens if you have an injury? You fuck your back up. You can't then go and do, you know, get bumped or thrown around, or you break your neck, or you whatever, or some horrific injury, and it, you know, wakes you up. Then you can't go and earn what you do for a shoot for a living. And then, you know, most times, like, where people go through something like that and it wakes them up and goes, fuck, I can't do this. But like in wrestling, anything can happen. You know what I mean? Like, you're one bad bump away from being in a wheelchair, bro. Like, and it's like, you know, there's certain things of safety that you can do, but if you invest all your being into this, and if something horrific does happen, then you look back and go, fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, like, fuck, I wasted my life.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
You know,
but people do what they do. I guess if you believe in yourself, go do it.
But it's also probably not just this industry, like the fight game, the music industry, the movie game, you know, like everything, man. People would like just, I feel like that people now so more than ever have this desire of fame and wealth. And they look at fame and they go, yeah, like if I get fame, I'm reaching a certain level of success. I'm a certain financial thing where I'm set for life if I'm famous. Where you look at the upside down side of it, whereas, you know, some people, yes, they get fame, and then, you know, they get used to a certain lifestyle and a certain spending, and then after a while, that money isn't coming in because you aren't the flavor of the month anymore, or you aren't that high roller, and then next thing you know, you're sucking dick behind. I don't know where I was going with that. I was just lost there. But yeah, no, you know, next thing you know, you're begging for change. But it's kind of a.
The other thing is, like, we're all in a wrestling bubble. Like, wrestling is not as big as other things on like a world stage. So we're in this wrestling bubble, right? And you have guys that go over to the US that move there, or they move to wherever. And in our bubble, we know them. And we're like, oh, yeah, he's sick. We know him. He's almost famous, or him or her. There's plenty of girls over there too.
Yeah,
and it's like they're almost famous to us because they're in a different country doing their thing, barely making a fucking living on the indies. Yeah. And that's what guys and girls are aiming for, to be doing that. Making no fucking money. How's that a goal? Like, all you're ever going to get is maybe respect from your peers, and they'll fucking forget you in a heartbeat anyway. So build a life for yourself. Like, who gives a fucking 20 years if you're like, oh, I worked with fucking American Indies for 15 years and I made it from Australia. So you can fucking make it. Anyone can go over there and do that shit. Like, their fucking indies are worse. On average, we have way better wrestling on our indie circuit than the US. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. There is so much fucking rubbish over there. Like, if you buy a ticket.
But there's also so much of it over there. Like, they're running shows like nearly 7 days a week in some places as well. And like, you look at like Australian wrestling here, and like how much of the quality that we have is good, and then you look at how much of the quality that is fucking dog shit. Right, it's the same level over there, and they're way much bigger. So we're going to see way much more of the dog shit because they have way more many shows that they got going on, and more spots to fill that they can just go, yeah, we'll put fucking, you know, Joe Schmo in there and he can stink up the joint for 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same sort of thing in a sense. Like, But there's great indie wrestling over there, but there's a lot of dog shit too.
I think we need people in Australia, and I'm not saying there isn't, but people to really invest in the Australian scene and push it. Like we have such good products in basically every state. There's just no backing, and there's no pushing for backing. Like people are so happy with where the promotion is, and they're like, oh, we're drawing 200-300. We're making money. We're a success, and that's fine. That's fine. Fucking, if you're not running at a loss, then that's awesome. That's fucking better than a lot of them. But
For real.
if you want your promotion to get bigger, then you need to fucking promote. You need to be a promoter. Having a promotion and going, I'm a promoter, that's all good and well, but it's in the name. Promote your fucking shows. And don't rely on social media because it advertises to wrestling fans that already fucking know who you are.